welcome to Crew Talk, episode 9. Real TWC in the building, Just JB with Carlton, and we have a special guest today, LaShia. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're chilling. We're just hanging in here. We're really happy to have you on. A lot's been going on in pro wrestling. I know you're doing a lot too. So let's get right to it. So LaShia, like, tell us your story. Like, what do you do, and how'd you get into pro wrestling? And yeah, go ahead.
That's like a loaded question. So.
All right, let me get back. Got too excited. Tell us about you, LaShia. What do you do, and what makes you tick?
So just like you guys, I run a podcast. I run my own show called Think Different TV, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Shout out to my TDTV fam all over the country. And I do that on my YouTube channel, Think Different TV. And you asked about, and I also am on a radio show now called It's Yours Radio in Salisbury, Maryland.
Wow.
So I do a segment called In My Opinion with Think Different TV's LaShia, which is at 5:15 on Sundays. So busy, just
on the go. I love it. We love it. That's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm on the second season of my show. Episode 20 will be on Monday, which is tomorrow. So big things are happening. But how did I get into wrestling? Oh my goodness. It just kind of was something that was in my household. I just around. No, I'm so serious. Like, one minute I didn't know anything about it, and then like the next minute my dad put on a pay-per-view, and I've been in love ever since.
Awesome.
I think my earliest memory was Big Boss Man being hung from the cage by Undertaker. I think that's my earliest.
That's your earliest. That's a hell of a memory.
Boss Man.
Oh, Boss Man being hung at WrestleMania 15 is the earliest. That's quite an image.
I think that's
quite an image,
the
LaShia.
earliest one. And then I just was like, oh my gosh, is he okay? But at the same time, I was like, yeah, he deserved it. Like, it was cool because I already had my picks. My brother had the game, the wrestling game with Doink on there, and all the old school characters on there.
WWF the arcade. Was that what it was? WWF the arcade, that game.
It was either that or wasn't there a game called Hulkamania?
I think there was a game like something like that. Yeah, there's a bunch. There was a bunch in the 90s for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, I've seen the phases. I've seen people in and out. I've seen the Divas matches. I was following it for a very long time. Stopped watching because I got older, and and then I started being in a relationship where he was into wrestling, so I was like, let me try this out again. So then I started getting my picks, and I'm sporting my New Day shirt today, and I got my
New Day
lunch pail.
Oh, bootios. It's all about the bootios.
Yeah, and I love Big E, so like I had a big crush on him, so I was like, well, I still do.
Big E's the man.
Shout out to Big E.
Shout out to Big E, and continue on your road to recovery.
Fun fact, right? So I'm also a singer, right? So I wanted to have like this awesome intro for when I come out on stage. And they had something called Cameo. And Big E is on Cameo. So I said, it would be kind of dope if he did like my intro. So I actually have the intro of him saying the intro for the show, but instead he says it's R&B songstress LaShia. Like, it was so dope. So
wow,
because he's just so amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I have to ask this since you talked about. Let's park on this for a second. Like, you love Big E. We're big fans of Big E and the New Day. It's crazy how the New Day changed. Like, they changed. They were like one of the best. Well, they're one of the best stables of all time. Like, they completely turned a crap gimmick into one of the best stories ever. It's incredible. And Big E, like, how'd you feel when he became champion? Like I was like, oh man, I was like jumping out of my seat. I was so happy.
So here's the ups and downs of wrestling with me. Like, so it'll be a period of time where I'll be watching it like faithfully, and then there'll be a period of time where I'm not watching it all because I'm trying to just survive and get through life myself, right? And so
ebbs and flows for sure.
Run, I didn't even know until after it was over. I was like, what?
Oh yeah,
So with the pandemic happening and all that stuff in between, it's like playing catch up. So I'm just trying to work and get my stuff together. I had to get rid of my cable, y'all. I was devastated.
Yep, I feel you. Cord cutting. I get it.
I am glad that they gave him a run because it was about damn time. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you can. Go ahead. You good.
I'm not gonna cuss too much. I'm not gonna say no F-bombs. No,
oh, no, you're cool. It's do your thing. Your thing.
Like I said, let it all out, girl.
We invite the smoke. We want all the takes. It's whatever what's on your mind is what's on our mind. So we will go with the flow. It's no problem.
Yeah. We're just talking. That's what crew talks about. We just talking.
Okay.
Yep. And if you're ever on next time if you're ever on again, we always like to have a little drink on the side while we're talking and everything like that.
I drink because as y'all can see, I am sweating over here. It is hot in Philly right now, and I do not need no liquor in my system because I would definitely, first of all, I'll be asleep. Y'all probably. Y'all know, because we had some parties.
Yeah.
Like my whole 30th birthday party. Shut up, Carlton.
Yep, I'm a drink on that one right there.
I was out, honey. I was out for the rest of the night. Like
something about when you it's something about when you hit that big 3-0 and after you're just that like you step back a little bit. I get it. I definitely get it. For me, it actually started in my super. I can go when needed, but like once I hit like the late 20s, that's when it started for me. I'm like, you know what? Everyone's trying to stay up till 2 a.m. I'm good. It's like 11 p.m. I'm gonna go to sleep. Now it's like 9, so I get it.
You see, I turned 30. I've been turning 30 every year, so like.
I know. That's exactly.
So with the ebbs and flows of you watching pro wrestling and everything like that, what's your favorite New Day moment since you're sporting the New Day gear, have the Bootios box and everything like that? What's your favorite that you've seen like that? What stands out to you as a New Day moment when you think about that stable?
I would say, because I was there, when Kofi won the title. We were there at WrestleMania 35 when that happened.
What? So, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yes, we were there.
That's crazy. Wow, what a moment. Woo!
See, that actually happened like live in front of my face. I think the most devastating moment I saw was when I went to Smackdown 1000, made the trip, went all the way out there to DC, and they lost. They lost. All because of Big Show. I'm like, where did you even come from? I was so upset. I didn't have any words. I couldn't believe my eyes. I said, really? Y'all would do that? SmackDown 1000?
Screw over the New Day like that. I feel ya.
Oh my gosh. They redeemed themselves by letting Kofi win. And but I just think that he didn't get a serious run when he had the title. I didn't think he had a serious. They didn't take his run seriously, and it was very upsetting. So
I think the build-up was better than the actual run, and I'm sure it's a meme out there right now, but like Brock Lesnar, like Kofi didn't even last 15 seconds against Brock Lesnar when he defended the title against him and lost. I'm like, damn, man. All right.
I don't think that's fair though. Like, why would you do that? Why? Like,
I know.
He worked his ass off to even get the title, and to lose it like that. There's other people that are trash that've gotten longer times, and you're gonna like do that to Kofi. I wonder why. Why would they do that to him?
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Is a sacrifice. Oof. And then he got the title, and they just was like, "We don't know what to do with you, honey." It's like they didn't know what to do with him. And that's it. And I know they had like a battle in their minds creatively, like, should we turn him heel? Should we keep him a face? You know, it was see, y'all ain't know I know those terms, but
No, I figured you knew them. We're all
someone that everybody hates, but it was so hard to get him to be heel at the time.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been too fake. It would have been too fake.
I feel you. I feel you.
I feel like they should have had big, like, this was my vision, right? When Kofi got the title, right? And I think I was talking to my significant other at the time. I was like, when Kofi got the title, what they should have did was they should have made tension between the New Day, right?
We have been talking about that.
We've been talking about this for years.
We've been talking about that for years. They had it. Oh my gosh.
He is okay. He has the title. First, he's all good. And then he start acting real Hollywood, you know. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Big E is like, yo, like, why you acting Hollywood, bro? Like, you up here, you talk about I'm gonna go out first. Y'all follow behind me. You know, I'm a champion. Y'all supposed to like have him be like that, but still have him as a face. Like, people still love him, but he's starting to get a little Hollywood, right? And then that creates tension within the New Day. Yep. And then, you know, all that, and it would have been a better storyline. But who they had come out and said Dolph Ziggler?
We love Dolph Ziggler over here, but like, I hear you.
See, that's what I would have sent Xavier Woods. I would have had him come in because he was the king of the ring too, where he had claimed to say, "Hey, you know, it's my time too."
Yep. It's a shame that It's a shame that storyline never materialized because we talked about it for years. Like, it would have been epic. Like, you know, the inner destruction of the New Day would have been like just beautiful pro wrestling storyline watching. So, you know,
business move, and I know why they didn't do it. Not a good business move, because I'm sure New Day was one of the tag teams leading in sales.
Oh, merchandise, yeah, merch for sure.
So they're not going to turn around and get rid of one of their cash cows. They're like, hey, this money. Like,
I know Big E's been out, and they're still, you know, Xavier Woods still coming out with the trombone and everything, and Kofi still, you know. So yeah, they've been milking it as long as they can. So I hear you. I just want to.
But don't get me wrong. He may pop up in Royal Rumble. He's 100% ready.
Oh, Big E.
Don't be shocked if he pops up in the Royal Rumble.
You talking about Big E?
Yeah, that will be the perfect return for him.
I hope so. Yep. I was just about to say.
I saw your eyes. I was like, oh, you ready? You ready for Big E to come back, huh?
Yes. He's been out on injury for like forever. And I've been I follow him on IG. So I see what he's doing outside of, you know. So.
Mm-hmm. So. We're all big fans, and I just wanted to say, Big E, you've made like an incredible like road to recovery and everything like that. We can't wait to see you back, Big E. Me, Carlton, and Reef, all of us, we saw you at Wale Mania, and you know, you were looking great, and we were just like, we were so amped up thinking that like, oh my gosh, could Big E show up at Mania? Obviously it didn't happen, but we're excited to see Big E return. He's LaShia, like, yeah, we're all big fans of him, and we're happy that he's ascended to as far as he's ascended to. So
and shout out to Wale too, because that was an awesome event. Like, Wale Mania, great. I cannot wait for you to do that in Philly.
It's gonna be great.
Because we will be there again.
Oh yeah, WrestleMania will be in Philly next year.
Yep.
So
it's coming.
Should I go? I mean, it's gonna be right now, but the tickets ain't cheap.
Wait. Did you say should you go? It's WrestleMania in Philly.
Oh, you're going to go. You don't have a choice. You ain't got no choice.
Y'all saying it like that's like my rent.
I feel it.
It's like pay rent, be homeless, or go to WrestleMania.
Hold on for one moment. Maybe not even just Mania though. There's going to be so many events. You might be able just to go to. Even if you're not showing up at the actual event, you might be able just to go to Xfinity Live and just experience everything, walk in and just like It's just going to be an event. Everything's going to be going on around the city that whole month, that whole week, those whole 2 weeks. Like, you might just be walking around and see Xavier Woods at a bar or something like that. I'm just saying, it's gonna be a crazy time. So,
oh yeah, and just a little note. Everybody stay close to Real TWC because we're gonna have a lot of events happening at WrestleMania. We will be at WrestleMania in Philly, you know, and we're gonna have a lot of events happening around that week. So stay tuned. Everybody can come.
A lot of stuff is cooking. A lot of stuff's cooking now from Real TWC for sure.
So you will be there.
I'll be there. I'm not gonna be bougie. I'm gonna be there with my big glass on.
So you would say that Big E's your current favorite right now? That's like overall, like he's your current favorite present time. I have a question. Who's your wrestling GOAT? Who's your GOAT?
He's like my crush, but like if you mean like wrestling,
who's your professional wrestling GOAT and who's your current favorite? If Biggie's your crush, cool. Who's your favorite wrestler right now? And aside from that, who's your GOAT?
So I love Becky. I love her. I have the fan shirt. I have because it's been a long time since I saw that fire in a wrestler, a female wrestler. Mm-hmm. And I was there WrestleMania 35 when she got both belts, you know. But even before that, I just loved her fire. It is like it had electricity. I got that feeling like when I used to watch China come down to the ring, when I used to watch,
R.I.P. China.
Down to the ring, when I used to watch my old WWE divas come down to the ring, I got that energy again. Charlotte Flair kind of gives me it, but definitely Becky, she definitely gives me that grit that I feel like reminds me of the olden days of the Attitude Era of, not giving a crap about what anybody says or thinks of you.
Yeah.
And when they had their whole thing where it was going between Smackdown and Raw and this, that, and the third, and she got punched in the nose, and it was just like craziness going on. Man, I think that was like the best time for me in recent days.
Okay.
As far as
that's a great pick.
Yeah, male wrestlers today.
Damn.
I really can't. I'm drawing a blank. I mean,
Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. I know Carlton loves AJ Styles.
He's a GOAT.
Braun Strowman. Dolph Ziggler. Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens.
Roman Reigns.
Damn, not the tribal chief. Not the tribal chief.
No, there's. Okay. I don't think there's anybody.
I gotta hear this one.
That my favorite of all time will always be Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Okay.
Hands down. I love The Rock too, but I recently, not recently, but there was a time when I used to just watch Attitude Era videos over and over again and just look at how it used to be in comparison to how it is now. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the commentary, the energy of the crowd.
JR and King, like the emotion, the yelling, oh my God, fuck God.
The promos was on the top. The promos, how they interacted with those people that used to interview them backstage, it was just different. It was just so much. Yeah. And you know what killed wrestling? And y'all probably gonna be.
Wait. What do you think killed wrestling? This is a hot take coming up. What do you think killed wrestling, LaShia?
Social media.
Really? Okay. Go on.
Oh my God. I agree.
You think social media killed wrestling?
Yes, I agree.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I know y'all about to go fight. Why do I want to see y'all kikiing at the restaurant on your social media page?
Fair. That's fair.
Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, I will say this. He is in character all the time. I follow him on IG. He's in character all the time. Even when he does his podcast, I still feel like it's a slight chance he might, stun somebody,
Yeah, yeah.
He interviews them, but
Flair.
still has that like he about to jump up and punch somebody. And
Right.
Even though he pays homage to a lot of wrestlers and he expresses love for them, it's still not like a tearful moment or anything like that. He is very much in character all the time, and I appreciate that. Even though, The Rock, he does his thing. He's been doing his thing. He movie star, all that great stuff. But Stone Cold Steve Austin is like WWF wrestling. He is like that old school wrestling, all the time. Even Ric Flair out here with rappers doing
Ooh.
what are you doing?
But you know what though? I would have to agree, because remember when CM Punk was coming back and everybody knew? It's because of social media. If social media wasn't there and CM Punk literally popped out that one random day in Chicago, he would have got a bigger pop than what he already got.
That's true. That's true.
Everybody knew he was coming back, just like everybody knew he was coming back at Collision. But we don't have to stay on CM Punk because he don't deserve the media. So we don't have to stay on CM Punk. We could just move forward.
Well, we talked about CM Punk last time. We don't. I think Carlton, you said your piece about CM Punk last time. That garnered a lot of reaction.
Yeah, I said my piece.
y'all check out episode 8 for Carlton's comments about CM Punk.
He was snapping.
I did snap.
Yeah.
And let me just do a public service announcement to all the followers. I said what I said about CM Punk, and I stand by it. Why? Because he don't deserve it. He don't deserve it.
So aside from the CM Punk business, and let's get back to
block me, by the way.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Never block a crew member. I think that social media, I agree with what y'all said. I think that social media has impacted, and the internet in general actually has impacted wrestling arguably for the worse. But I guess they've also had, you also have to adapt with the time. So I guess I just kind of ride with it. But you're right, like that mystique. Imagine if like the NWO formed with like social media around. There's no way that it would have the same impact. Or like The Rock turning heel, or like The Rock coming back, or Shawn Michaels coming back. It wouldn't have the same like pop. Pun intended. It wouldn't have the same oomph if social media was there.
Spoilers. So back when I was in high school, right, and I was really into wrestling and everything, because I told you ebbs and flows, right? So when I was in high school, I was really into wrestling, and I remember going on a site and they had spoilers because they used to tape Tuesdays and they would play it on Thursday. At the time, it was Thursdays. And so I didn't want to, but I was nosy, and I used to go. I used to read the spoilers, and it was like my guilty pleasure. And
we've all done it.
But I still was excited when it happened. But that's not what's happening nowadays. People know about it already, and then one site will catch on to it, and then in order for this other site to get real popular, they start reporting on it, and then everybody's reporting on it. So then, like, when it happens, it's just like, oh, well, we kind of already know, like. But back then, it was like just that site, that one site, I don't even know what site it was, but geez, I used to go on there, Tuesdays. What's going to happen? Oh. All right. I just want to see if someone that I like is losing, so I can push the air. Okay.
Yeah, we've all done that. I used to do that. We've all been there for sure. Okay.
Well, I got a quick question. Just on a side note, and I would love to get LaShia's viewpoint on this one, because obviously you're a woman and you've been watching wrestling for a while. The more that me and JB, we always talk about Ronda Rousey, right? And I wanted to get your viewpoint. So as a woman, a female that loved wrestling and watched wrestling for a while, how do you think the impact of Ronda Rousey coming to WWE? Like, is it like how what is your viewpoint on her effect on the wrestling business in regards to her coming in, her, what she's done so far? Is there more that she can do? Like, what's your viewpoint on that?
I think anytime a new wrestler takes the stage, is going to be, they have to prove themselves, right?
Oh boy.
And
I know what's coming here.
Just kind of handed that fame before actually having to prove herself worthy of being the talk of the town. I think if they came in on a little bit more of a sneak tip of like a blindsided us with it rather than announced it to the world, I think she would have had more impact. And I think if they would have had something already written for her when she came in, because the thing is that they always want to just make a big splash and be headline news. Oh, Ronda Rousey is coming to WWE. But behind the scenes, the writers are scrambling. They're like, what are we going to actually have her do? I think that's what happened to the girl with the hats. She came in, she was like real strong. Y'all know who I'm talking about. The Southern Belle, the one that...
Lacey Evans? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. I liked her.
You liked Lacey Evans?
I liked Lacey.
Well, Lacey Evans had an actual Southern Belle character. She had an actual character from NXT that came into WWE, and she, I thought she actually played it very well.
I just felt like they didn't have anything written for her. They just was gonna bring her in on the hype and then worry about everything later. And that's
with Ronda Rousey. I got you.
Is with a lot of these people they're bringing in. They bring them in, but then they don't know what to do and they don't set anything up. They don't have any type of plan. So what happened to Ronda is what happens to a lot of wrestlers or people that's coming in that they don't have anything for. It fell by the wayside. It fell flat on the audience, and then they had to build up this whole thing with Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. They tried to create something after she was already in, where it should have already been a plan before she got in there, so it could just flow. It just felt very rushed. It wasn't authentic.
Carlton's loving everything you're saying right now.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes right now. I'm loving everything she's saying.
Ronda Rousey coming into the WWE was kind of like when Mike Tyson was on here.
Ooh.
Damn.
But Mike Tyson had a little bit more
Mike
fight.
Tyson.
I love it.
All right.
I see the connection though.
Mike Tyson was so integral.
No, let her keep going. It's not your time.
Hold on for a moment. I'm sorry.
Continue. No.
Hold on.
Please continue.
Hold on. Yeah, wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to calm down for a moment with Mike Tyson.
Okay, Skill.
Go forward and...
So when Tyson was in there, he had beef with, oh my gosh, it's so long ago. But it was Stone Cold, right? But look at who he had beef with.
Stone Cold.
Exactly.
And it was the DX storyline.
Actual and it was already built up. It was already something kind of like.
They had a plan. They had a plan with that though. Yes.
So what happened? They had her beefing with Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, Stephanie McMahon wanted Ronda to.
The Rock teamed up against Stephanie McMahon and Triple H.
WrestleMania 31.
And then I was like, well, why? How do you come in already beefing with the leading lady? The person.
The boss's daughter.
The boss's, but still, it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. It was just all over the place, and it was very upsetting. And then I was like, I'm up there at WrestleMania 35 watching this triple threat match between three ladies, and only two of them I actually saw wrestling. Actually doing something. Ronda was just there.
Oh man.
It's amazing.
She was just there. I'm sorry. She was just there.
I've heard this from a certain.
No shade to you, honey, but you was just there. You was just there. You was a pawn and whatever.
Yeah,
they was trying to play.
Everybody else carried the match.
You're just feeding into Carlton right now. He has been saying this to me for years. I hear what y'all are saying, I think there's a whole other side about it. I completely understand. Look, I think Stephanie McMahon at the time wanted to take the impact around Ronda Rousey, because if you remember back in 2015, Ronda Rousey was probably one of the biggest stories in all of sports, like because of what she was doing in UFC and everything like that, right up until she got knocked out by Holly Holm, and
Exactly.
I think Stephanie McMahon wanted to take. I think she wanted to take that popularity and that impact and put it into WWE and inject it. So in a way, Ronda Rousey's aura, however you want to say it, whether you disagree with it or not, I think that WWE wanted to take that, especially Stephanie McMahon, and inject it into what they were doing with the Divas, because people were saying give Divas a chance, and I think that she wanted to include Ronda Rousey as a prep up to help everything else, whether or not we think that they needed help or not. I'm just saying I think that's what they wanted to do at the time, and I think that Ronda Rousey, kind of her name and her value and everything like that in terms of that, kind of inadvertently helped everybody out. So I think there's both ways to looking at it. She's not the wrestler that a Charlotte Flair is, that a Bayley is, that the Four Horsewomen. She's not that. Like, I think she did all things considered a solid job. Because of her name, she was always going to be like put into that situation because of the value that Stephanie McMahon had in her. So that's just how I look at it. It is what it is.
Value. Okay. Now, this is the thing.
Stephanie McMahon. I'm Stephanie McMahon, how she looked at her.
And what makes money for the company. See that, and what they're getting away from is what made wrestling what it was, what made it popular. Instead, they're trying to get the quick bucks. And by putting Ronda on the ticket after her fall, or whatever you want to call her run with.
It was after UFC. It was after she had the shine knocked off of her after that loss. Yes.
Yes. Capitalize off of Ronda Rousey.
I can't wait for this.
It wasn't to make wrestling better. It wasn't to make the show better. It was to capitalize off of this person.
That's what they do, though. That's what they do. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what they do. They're doing it with Logan Paul right now. Except Logan Paul's good.
Guess what?
Very good.
I'm ready. Is it my turn?
Go for it.
Okay.
Go for it, Carlton.
So I'm going to say this, and I'm going to be as beautiful. And LaShia, thank you so much for bringing all the points, because everything you said, believe me, everything you said was great. So I'm going to enjoy this moment. Because I can tell you this right now, Ronda Rousey has been the biggest bust in WWE history.
Stop. Oh my gosh.
Here's what I'm saying, okay? Because Shayna Baszler gave out a really true and heartfelt.
Yeah, she scorched her with that promo.
Yeah. Because everything she said was true. It was absolutely true, which is what every WWE fan has thought about, which probably everybody in the locker room has thought about. She hasn't done nothing. What did she do? She just came in and all of a sudden went to WrestleMania when everybody else, Shayna Baszler, can you picture her putting a ring together? No, but she put in her hard work. Can you picture her putting the mats down and doing everything else? No, she was even in NXT. Like Ronda Rousey, what? She popped into NXT, did she? Or did she not?
No, she did not.
Exactly. So she didn't put in any work. So what did she do? No, you gave her the pedestal. The Rock even brought you in. The Rock, the GOAT of the WWE right now, probably brought in Ronda Rousey in WrestleMania. And what did you do once he left? What did you do? You fell. Literally. You haven't done anything else. You were at the top of the pedestal. Women's division, you fell. All you did, everybody talks about John Cena, 5 moves to doom. Well, she's only 3. She does that stupid arm ring. And what does she do after that? Put you in a hole, breaking your arm, and that's it. Same thing. She has nothing. She's done nothing. And then what happens now? She leaves. She comes back, makes a big old boom. And what did you do? You can't even hold on to the damn tag team championship. You can't even hold on to the women's tag team championship. Okay? No offense, Ronda Rousey. As soon as you got your ass kicked, you ain't doing nothing since. Okay? You haven't done nothing. They gave you the title. They gave it to you more than Charlotte. Nothing. So you have been the biggest bust in WWE history. I've said what I said. Ronda Rousey, you're going to block me too. But guess what? It's okay. Because I know I'm right. And you cannot, JB, you can't even say that I'm wrong. Because what has she done since? Even Shayna Baszler shut her up. Shayna Baszler shut her up on Raw. And what did she say on Raw? All she said was, "Come here, Shayna. Come here." That's all she said.
Come here, Shayna.
After she shut her up. I'm sorry.
All right. I get it. I completely get it. I think saying she's the biggest bust in WWE history, I think that's a little much.
Wait. No, it is not much. It is fact.
I think that's a little much. I think you could say she's maybe a disappointment. I think you could also argue she all things considered, she did her part. She helped. All right, let me ask this question.
Okay, so who has done worse? Who's done worse? Who's done worse? Who has done worse?
Hold on. At WrestleMania 35, LaShia, right? Becky being in the main event. If Ronda Rousey was not there, would she have main evented with Charlotte? Yes or no?
If she was not there.
If Ronda Rousey was not a part of WrestleMania 35, would Becky and Charlotte have closed WrestleMania?
Well, that's a very loaded
question. Yes or no?
No.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's all I mean. That's why Ronda Rousey's there. That's why she was there.
Yeah. So what LaShia said was right. It's because of her name. Not because of her talent.
They choose who gonna be the main event. Now listen, Ronda got up there, but because they made some type of fake drama behind. But who carried the whole match? Charlotte,
obviously Becky and Charlotte.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Ronda was just there. And yes, they wouldn't have been able to headline.
Y'all are acting like Ronda has had no.
So then that was purely Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. And let's talk about this too.
He was on the floor half the time, remember? He was on the floor.
When you go from being in the ring and actually trying to hurt people, right, to being in a ring where you're supposed to take exceptional care, I don't think also Ronda Rousey was a safe person to have a match with, because she was hurting people. Listen, she didn't know how to switch. She didn't know how to switch. So,
I think Ronda Rousey actually did a solid job, all things considered, of transitioning from
when it comes to other wrestler safety either. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I think that a lot of wrestlers botch and it happens, and I think Ronda Rousey was not that. I don't think she's as bad as what y'all two are trying to, enunciate with her, but we could argue and debate about that. The thing is, Ronda Rousey's probably leaving the WWE anyway, so I'm sure that y'all are very happy to hear that she's out anyway. Probably this storyline with Shayna turning on her and everything like that. That's probably her exit out of WWE, and all things considered, it's cool that Ronda is going to be, using what's left of her shine, what's left of it, right?
She has no shine. It's over. Over.
But I hear what you're saying.
Over.
She's still gonna elevate Shayna. Know what I'm saying. She's still gonna elevate Shayna. I'm just saying, at least she's gonna be giving her credit.
Elevate her.
She's gonna be
Shayna's
leaving
been
though.
Carrying her for a while.
Shayna's a much better ring talent than Ronda Rousey. I think y'all are missing the point of what I'm saying. Y'all are acting like she's the worst thing.
Better than her.
Y'all are acting like she's the worst thing ever. She's not. She's better.
I'm like Nene Lex. I'm just sitting here. Y'all just talking. How'd I get put in it?
Name somebody worse than Ronda Rousey.
Name someone worse than Ronda Rousey, like all time or like right now. What do you mean?
I'm not talking about all time.
Right now.
Name a worse downfall than a big name coming in and just drop the ball.
A big name coming like a celebrity? A celebrity? Like what do you like?
Harden.
I'm sorry, say it again.
sounds like James Harden coming into the Sixers and just like blowing it.
Mm-hmm.
So name another wrestler that's come in with The Rock and blew it all.
But I don't think Ronda Rousey like blew it though. That's what I think. That's what we disagree.
Because you don't know. It's because you don't know.
I'm sorry. I don't think that she blew it. I don't think that she. What do we expect? The women's wrestling is bigger than ever now. Ronda Rousey was a part of that. I think in those terms she did her job. Now in terms of her in-ring ability, yeah, okay, I get it. Her mic skills aren't the greatest. She could have been a much better like overall product. I got it. But I think in terms of like why she was brought into the fold, it worked. That's really all I got to say about that too.
I'll leave it at this. And LaShia, you can finish off with this one because after I'm done, I'm going to be done, okay? Because I'm going to say this. You said, and I quote, wrestling is the biggest that it's ever been. So you have the biggest ball and you dropped it.
For sure.
The biggest downfall.
How can you have the biggest downfall though when you helped to elevate it though? That's what, in terms of WWE. That's
Ripley helped it. Becky Lynch helped it.
Becky Lynch helped it. Of course, Becky Lynch is way higher on the totem pole. She's way higher on the totem pole than Ronda Rousey. I'm just saying y'all are acting like she's like the worst thing ever. I don't think she's the worst thing ever.
I didn't say she's the worst thing ever. I just said that they didn't have a plan for her when she came in, and
that's Stephanie McMahon. I answer that because Stephanie McMahon wanted Ronda Rousey to come in. They even talked about it in a promo. It was true. I think it was basically hinted that all Stephanie wanted to do was have Ronda Rousey. It was when they were feuding. She just wanted to have Ronda Rousey come in because she wanted like to elevate her status and everything like that. Like it's all Stephanie McMahon. So I'm just saying I'd be more mad at her than Ronda Rousey, but that's a whole other topic, I guess.
But
Ronda Rousey's about to leave.
Rousey, because she a grown woman and she let another woman put her in that position.
I feel you.
She could have said, I respectfully decline. I don't think I'm really, let me get better at doing promos and stuff like that before I actually make a splash. I feel like, because listen, wrestlers today got way more creative control than what they try to put out there, okay? They choose when they drop. And if Stephanie really wanted her, if Ronda Rousey said, listen, I'm not exactly ready yet to make a splash, I want to be a little bit better. Stephanie, if she really wanted her, she would have waited until she was ready. She would have waited.
I feel you. I think Ronda overall, she had her ups and downs. I think she's improved, like on the mic. Not much, but I think she has improved on the mic. I think that she was definitely a better heel than a face. I will say that. I think that she hasn't had really an awful message. I think she's been pretty solid. I mean, it's just that I guess in considering what they thought they were getting with her, Carlton, what you said about James Harden, I will say this: the Sixers felt that they were going to get maybe Daryl Morey thought he was going to get maybe they thought they were going to get a Rockets James Harden, right? And by the way, I just want to say I was happy when James Harden was put on the Sixers. I loved it. Just want to put that out there. But just this analogy, just with what Carlton said earlier.
You were also happy when Ronda Rousey came in, and I told you.
We didn't get the Rockets prime James Harden when he was dropping almost 30 biggest points per game since the GOAT Michael Jordan dropped in the 80s, right? I think that they wanted the UFC Ronda Rousey with all that hype, and that's just not what it was. But nonetheless, the women's division got elevated through her name and through her involvement. They got a pay-per-view out of it. They got a main event at WrestleMania out of it. They had stars emerge through being with her. But I also see your other points too. I don't have the vitriol y'all have, but I get it. I don't think she's the biggest person.
Victory. College word on me just damn vitriol. Okay.
I don't think she's the biggest plus in WWE history. I think that's a little harsh, but it's arguable. Sure.
So that's one of the things I'm reporting on tomorrow on my show. I have a segment called Hidden and Quitters, which is trending the events and music, sports, celebrity, local news. And one of the things that is going to be part of the Hit It and Quit It is the loss of Droz.
R.I.P. Droz.
Yeah. So I was a little hurt by that news. You know, I was a little hurt by that because I just feel like he wasn't able to live the quality of life that I feel like he should have lived. And a lot
of about the accident, right? You know about what happened.
Remember, they don't remember. And a lot of people was bringing it up when they got the news of his passing. They started bringing up that botch that happened with D'Lo Brown.
D'Lo Brown, yep.
And everything that happened subsequently. And but it's really sad, you know, because the end of the 90s was like really hard on wrestling. It was really hard on wrestling. Even the beginning of the 2000s, it was like we lost a lot of wrestlers.
Hennig, British Bulldog
survived, but
a lot of people.
He didn't have the quality of life that and I saw that D'Lo was visiting him and they became really good friends afterwards. And it really messed him up psychologically. And what that made me go down this rabbit hole and just was thinking about a lot of wrestlers who don't get a lot of credit for making sure they don't hurt people in the ring.
Well, that goes to the workers. That's
happening where it was like all these different men in the ring, right? And they was taking chair shots. Boom, chair shot, chair shot, chair shot. And then there was supposed to be a move that was made, but if you carefully look at the video, Undertaker moves the chair out of the way so that move can be executed without somebody getting hurt. He's one of the people that makes sure that everybody in the ring is safe. And Bret Hart.
You're talking about some of the safest workers ever. Taker, Bret Hart, HBK, Triple H. When HBK came back, he was happy it was against Triple H because Triple H is a safe worker. He doesn't ever injure people. But botches, unfortunately, you know, R.I.P. to Droz. I remember when Droz, I remember watching him as a kid, like when Droz, was first a part of the Attitude Era, and that unfortunate situation with D'Lo. D'Lo Brown was a really great and underrated in-ring worker. It happens. We've gotten the crew has gotten into some debates about this. I love Seth Rollins, but he's injured two people. It happens. He injured Finn Balor and he injured Sting. So sometimes some of the best performers in the history of the industry, it happens. And unfortunately, it's really sad that what happened to Droz, and it's really sad and unfortunate. But you know, we all saw Droz. He was definitely a cool lower mid Carter. And I don't mean that. I'm not saying that as any type of like shade. I'm just saying like it's what he was. He was a good intricate like
everybody was awesome. Like
even the lower mid Carters in the Attitude Era were more interesting than a lot of people today. Like the Attitude Era was stacked. It's just the truth.
But if you look at what he did, even with coming like. He was good at changing his character too, because I like the fact that he had his character, but then he came back with Animal, like with LOD 2000. Like it was,
that
great.
Was cool.
Like
that was cool.
Like he really did it.
He was
good
talent.
So
he was a good talent.
You know, and it sucked at the fact that he had to, be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life. But I mean, honestly, like if you look at Droz, he did it because he loved wrestling. He loved what he did. And that's the one thing I do respect about him is the fact that he did it and he had no complaints. Like even I think I saw like this one documentary on him, even in his wheelchair, he said he had no complaints. He said he would do it again. Just because he loved wrestling.
Yeah. It's a part of it. Yeah.
So it's one of the things I wish that WWE would actually like bring him in a few times, like just to give him like his recognition, because even though you're a mid-carder, you literally gave your life for the company. Like, what you did. So
definitely.
That's one of the things.
And there's a whole other topic about WWE and how they take care of their wrestlers, but we won't. That's a whole other topic for another time. I want to go into the next topic. Get into some current events a little bit. LaShia, did you watch Smackdown the other night? Do you know what's going on with the Bloodline and that storyline has taken over pro wrestling for the past 3.5 years? Do you know much about what's going on with that?
But I've been hearing a lot, and plus being on social media, being a social media person and being on there all the time, I have seen the different things that have been happening. And with the twins, I affectionately call them.
Usos. Yeah.
Twins. You know, the twins.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Kid popped in. Sorry.
Them and Roman Reigns and all of them, and then the LWO. It's a lot going on, and I know that sometimes I get my SmackDown mixed up with my Raw.
Mm-hmm.
There's
a lot of wrestling content going on, so you being able to keep up with anything is impressive. So
it is a lot. Like I'm the type that like the behind the scenes stuff now. Like Carmella, she's out because she's about to have a baby, and
congratulations
to Carmella. Yes, definitely. Mm-hmm. And I remember when Becky was out when she had a baby. I wonder, do they like have them on rotation? They're like, who wants to have a baby now? Let us know now, so we can know what we're gonna do with the storyline. Okay, let's work it. Let's work some stuff around.
That's a good shout out to WWE, because as soon as like one of them get pregnant, they know how to shift in another storyline to make it happen. So I give them props for that. Totally. Same thing with Becky. As soon as she got pregnant, she had a baby. They knew what to do with her.
Yeah, they definitely handled that. Definitely. Well, I want to say with Ronda. I want to say with the bloodline, it's LaShia, it's been the best. We've had polls of whether or not it's a top 5 storyline in like wrestling history. It's like gotten to that level. Just like as an overview about how big it's been. Roman Reigns turned heel. Finally, took him. They after 7 years of trying to get him over, finally he found something that fit with him and stuff like that. And as the head of the table, he's been killing it. And there's been a lot of ebbs and flows and ups and downs with that storyline. And the biggest thing is Money in the Bank was last week, and Roman Reigns was pinned for the first time in 3.5 years. 3.5 years, the first time pinned by Jey Uso in a tag team
main event. Jey Uso.
Main event. It was the Uso brothers, the Usos against Solo Sikoa and Roman Reigns, and it was the Bloodline Civil War, and they got beat in that match. And that was the first time Roman Reigns took the pin in 3.5 years. That's how much he has been elevated over the past, over that time. And there was a trial about Roman Reigns on Smackdown. Carlton, did you catch it?
Yeah, I watched it.
It was crazy. It was Roman Reigns has been very manipulative. I'm not sure if you've seen some of his clips, LaShia, but he's definitely grown into like the bad guy heel role. He's really good with it. He's taken that mantle. He's like the top guy, but also like the top heel. He's done a really good job with it in my opinion. Definitely compared to when they were pushing the hell out of him when he were trying to have him be a face and no one was rocking with it. So he's done a complete 180 with it. He was about to give up being the tribal chief, and he was because Jey Uso beat him, and he was saying that like, is this what you want? Do you want to be the tribal chief? I don't want this anymore. You guys are manipulating me. So he was gaslighting. Roman Reigns was gaslighting the Usos, and then Roman Reigns, like he got down on one knee. He got down on his knees, ready to like he put the
cape, like
what's up?
What is it? A cape or something like?
Yeah, he put it on Jey, and then he was ready to bow down to Jey, and Roman Reigns was like crying. He's like, because he's gonna bow down to the new tribal chief, and he was telling Jey like, if you want this, you can have it. And Jey like goes to Roman Reigns and is like, talking with him. And while that's happening, I'm like, if you need to go see the highlight, because Carlton, I don't know if you thought this, but I was looking at the TV. I was like, he's gonna low blow him. He's gonna low blow him at any moment right now. This is a setup. And then bam, just completely low blows the utter hell out of Jey Uso, and then they just beat the hell out the Usos. And the storyline has just been It's just been crazy. Turn
against family.
Family against family. And you know what?
This is giving me old school nostalgia, like DTA,
Mm-hmm.
and I want them to get back to that. I want the cleary of everybody. I don't want nobody that had their guard down for no one. Like
right.
And that's what made Attitude Era like the era for me, because no one had their guard down. The people that had their guard down was quickly taught to never have their guard down. You feel me?
Well, especially with Stone Cold around.
Yeah, that's the thing that made it like the chef's kiss. Every time you think people, oh yeah, they getting along, oh they tag team this and the third, and then next thing you know, the person turned on them, and then you be like, oh my gosh. Like, I think the last time we saw something like that, I saw something like that before the recent one. It probably was something after that, but when Miz turned on his teammate, it's like nobody expected it. Or maybe
they on his teammate. Let's try and was it Alex Riley? I'm trying to think here.
Yeah, he was teamed up with.
Miz has had a lot of teammates.
No, it was the recent one. What's his name? I know who you're talking about.
Miz has turned on a lot of people.
It was Logan Paul.
Oh, Logan Paul? Oh, okay. I thought we were talking about, okay.
First of all, I know about Logan Paul. I know about his run and everything like that, but I'm talking about before that. Yeah, it's been a while. So
okay.
That was his last partner that he turned on, though.
Yeah, but I'm talking about old school. Like when I was watching, and
he was with John Morrison. That was a big teammate. John Morrison. Alex Rowley was his I guess I don't want to say his manager, but like his.
He turned on Sandow. Damien Sandow too.
He turned on Damien Sandow. That's one. That might be one.
They just got drafted to a specific. I don't know if it was Smackdown or Raw. They had just got drafted, and then once they got drafted, they was a tag team, and then he. Yeah, but that was a long time ago. But what I'm saying is that I like to not know. I like to get hit with it. I don't want to know.
I'm telling you. This.
I don't think nobody should hang with nobody outside.
I'm telling you, LaShia.
Where cameras are, do not be near each other, because it infuriates me when I'm like watching and I want to enjoy it so badly, but people like, oh, but I knew that was going to happen.
Well, I want to say, even with because we've been watching wrestling for years, so we're pretty good with getting the figuring out where things are going to go. But even with that, this Bloodline storyline has been even when it's gotten stale, they infuse it with new stuff. Like when Sami Zayn was involved with it, before Sami Zayn got involved with it last year, it was almost dead in the water, and then boom, he comes in and it goes to another level. Cody, let me tell you something. When me, Sharif, Carlton, and everybody else, we were all at WrestleMania this past year in LA, and it was awesome, great experience. Won't be anything like Philly next year though. I just want to say that. But we all were ready for Cody Rhodes to win. The whole crowd was ready for Cody Rhodes to win. About to pop for him like crazy. The end of the match was it was like gold. It was amazing. And then Roman Reigns won and Cody Rhodes lost. And you could just it was silence. I thought that the Bloodline storyline was just dead after that. I was like, where else can they go? But again, surprise! They're squeezing as much out of it as they can, and the inner family feud, especially with Jey Uso, with Jimmy Uso and the Uso brothers leaving the Bloodline, and the turmoil with that. It's been crazy. So.
Question, is Naomi back?
No, not in WWE. Not in WWE.
I saw her training with somebody.
She's been training. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Impact Wrestling. She's in Impact.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, she went to Impact.
Which is, I think, that's another part of WWE drop, because just like when it comes to
Naomi was awesome.
Yeah, Naomi could have been the first woman of the Bloodline.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It would have been like her and Rhea Ripley. Like, they literally, like, because Rhea Ripley is definitely the first woman of
Judgment Day.
Yeah, Judgment Day. Like, can you imagine? Like, both of them head to head. Like, they could have like risen her a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but why didn't they is the question. Again, there's always a lot of questions that I have. You know, but I can honestly say that
they were pissed off. Sasha and Naomi left.
Comes to the storyline of like the Usos and main event Jay, like I'll give Jay a lot of credit. Like, and again, like between him and Jimmy, no offense, I always said that Jay was the one that has more of the single prowess, you know, in the tag team. You know, just like there's other tag teams we can literally point out and just say, hey, this is the guy. Like, this is the guy in the tag team that needs to do it.
Of course, all the time. Montez Ford.
Yeah.
D'Angelo, we think you're awesome. But with Montez Ford or Booker T, Scott Steiner, HBK, it goes down.
Exactly. So there's a few, but I give Jay a lot of credit. The storyline is amazing, and I like the fact that he picked up that damn title and said, like, look, he said, I'm gonna kick your ass. That's what he said. They're gonna whoop your ass. Like, I love it. Like, that was perfect. Like, what he did. So, like, this storyline is gonna be way, way better. Like, I love it. Now the question is, will they give him the title?
That's a good question. I think in terms of the storyline, it kind of makes sense. It depends if Roman Reigns wants him to do it. If Roman Reigns is like, I'm not doing anything unless Jay, my blood gets the title from me, then that could happen. But for business purposes, I don't know. I don't know if Triple H and Vince will let it happen.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to ask you, because we talked about this before. Because I'm like, Rock is not going to come back and get a title run for no reason. Would this be the perfect time for him to drop the title to Jay? And if Jay gets it, Mr. Money in the Bank comes in and takes the title from him. And then right around Survivor Series, they start revamping the storyline.
I hear you.
Because if Rock comes back, the moment, and this is the perfect time for Roman to drop the belt at this point.
I hear you. We've been talking about The Rock for the whole storyline, though. It's just, yet another perfect moment for The Rock to come back. We're Rock fans. I'm a Rock fan, huge Rock fan. Like, I would love this actually makes sense for The Rock to come back. Like, of all the storylines, this literally makes sense for The Rock to come back. Like,
maybe Jay, would be you remember what Roman said? Roman was like, I'm to try with you. Nobody can outrule me.
Oh yeah, obviously no one's going to argue against The Rock outruling Roman Reigns. So it's perfect. Yeah.
Did Rikishi come on there for a quick second? Because I remember seeing a clip of him doing the dance with his sons. Oh, that was a long time ago.
That was a while ago.
Raw 20, was it the anniversary 30?
Yeah, it was.
Anniversary,
it was a while ago. No, I don't think it was the 30th. Except we were at that. I don't think they did the dance at the 30th with the bloodline there. I think that was something else. But I will say that no, Carlton, what you're talking about is they were supposed to come out for a bloodline reunion on the 30th, because I remember we were talking like maybe The Rock can come back to that, but then they canceled it. Nothing. They didn't end up doing the reunion with that. He was supposed to come out at that one. So, yeah.
Crazy. So, are y'all excited about SummerSlam at all?
Yeah, I'm excited for SummerSlam. SummerSlam is like the second biggest pay-per-view of the year now. I think it's or third if you depends on how you look at the Royal Rumble, but it's up there. It's a big pay-per-view. They're positioning it as like the WrestleMania of the summer.
It's going to be in Detroit, right? Shout out.
It's going to be in Detroit. It's going to be in Detroit. I'm excited for the where the bloodline storyline is going to go. Further a little bit going into Money in the Bank. Io Sky, congratulations for winning Money in the Bank. Damian Priest, congratulations for winning Money in the Bank. Those storylines there going into SummerSlam will be pretty cool as they unfold. Judgment Day, outside the bloodline, Judgment Day's been killing it. Judgment Day's been holding it down the whole, in WWE. They've been killing it. So
try to cash in her Money in the Bank.
I think she came around like. Did she?
She was on
I'll
Smackdown.
think back about that. Yeah. I might. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked. They're gonna play that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, wasn't Charlotte Flair like, down and she came in and she wanted to cash in her Money in the Bank, and then it just got intercepted or whatever. So it never
happened.
went through.
You mentioned something about Charlotte Flair actually. Why does Charlotte Flair? Obviously Charlotte Flair isn't the champion, but why does Charlotte Flair always have to be involved with the title when she comes back?
Because she's one of the biggest ring generals on the women's side.
Sure, that's fine. But Seth Rollins isn't always with the title. Why I'm just asking, why does it always have to be with the title?
Because Seth Rollins had already injured 2 people already.
It's not just that. Seth Rollins is one of the best workers ever. What about AJ Styles? He doesn't. I'm saying like Charlotte Flair doesn't need to have the title all the time. That's what I'm saying.
No,
why is she always going for the title? Even when she returns.
Does she have the title?
No, I'm saying why is it always inserted into the title match? Why?
She is one of the best ring generals.
Of course she is. But why?
Yeah,
why does it have to be the title?
Oh my God! What do you mean why? Why?
Just take a break.
I just told you why.
I know that she's a great ring general. She's arguably the best women's wrestler ever. I get it. But why does it have? When you don't have to. HBK is the GOAT. HBK, in my opinion, is the best ring performer ever.
He is the GOAT.
He won the title at Survivor Series 2002. Sometimes he went for the title, other times he didn't. He wasn't always involved.
Prize. That was a consolation prize for him.
Guys, Charlotte Flair, another word that stands that starts with C is consistency. And
she's great. There's no debate with that. Charlotte's great.
So they don't ever feel like they're taking a gamble by giving her the title, as far as wrestling is concerned, and as far as a business move. That's exactly why she always has the title, or she has something to do with the title, is honestly because she's consistent, and they need a consistent wrestler who's going to be there when they need them to be there. Not saying, I want to take days off and stuff like that. They need somebody that's going to be there that will really hold the title down. And, I don't think they have anybody right now that is as consistent as Charlotte is to really have a title run or to be involved with the title on a regular basis.
What?
No. And to piggyback off of her, I agree with her because Charlotte Flair can even take time off, and she still can come back and give you a 5-star match. Who does that? Like, you can't look. WWE knows. Okay, there's a few people that can be off and come back and whatever, but when it comes to Charlotte Flair, you get Charlotte Flair in any type of main event match, and honestly, everybody knows that when Charlotte Flair comes in, they get irked. Everybody's like, why is she back there? Just like you just did. Why is she back there? Because she still does a 5-star match. Honestly, like right now, you have a lot of other good wrestlers, but who can put off a better kind of Charlotte Flair? Like, even with Becky Lynch and everybody else, like Bianca Belair beat the crap out of Charlotte. It's only because Charlotte Flair is there. That's the reason why it's a little bit more better. Right or wrong? Can you admit it?
Listen, the position that Charlotte's in, if she puts anybody over, it's like a big deal. It's a big deal for Charlotte Flair to put anybody over. So that's why she has a lot. Like, for Becky and her to go at it at WrestleMania and give the match that they gave, and Becky come out with the 2 belts, is like, man, it was just an explosive, a crazy match. It really kept me on my toes. And Charlotte, she definitely, even though sometimes I feel like she is not my favorite person, but at the same time, she gives her all. And it's also because she has something to prove, because she's Ric Flair's daughter, and I'm like, all the time she's gonna give 120%, 200% because she has something to prove and she has a legacy that she has to keep alive. And she eats, breathes, sleeps WWE. Like, she's been raised up in the WWE. So it just makes sense for her to be the person to be like, would I want to see Natty get some more things? But it's just like Natty is not consistent to me. You know, she's
Natty's
not.
one of the more Natty Natalya Neidhart is actually arguably one of the more consistent workers of the past like 20 years in WWE. I'm sorry, I can't hear that about Natty. She's not the star that Charlotte Flair is, but Natty's very consistent.
She's
very reliable.
sound.
She's the only person that they go to.
Yeah.
They always go to her for a match to keep it rolling. She's kind of like that role, like that veteran role.
No, I agree.
I just wanted to put respect on that Natalya with that. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I love Natty. But she everybody has a part to play in the WWE.
Yeah, I get it.
Charlotte.
I love Charlotte.
She's the face.
Yeah.
For Natty.
Yeah, I think Charlotte. Yeah, I hear you. I think Bianca Belair surpassed her personally. I think she's has a better aura.
No, she did too.
I think Bianca surpassed. I think Charlotte is better than Bianca in the ring. I want to get this before this gets. Charlotte Flair is one of the best in-ring women's performers in general, like ever. We have a friend that says that she I'll shout out Brand out here. Like, says that she's the best women's wrestler of all time, no debate. I think Serge says it too. Look, I hear it. I get it. I think she's up there. I think she's a top tier talent. I'm just saying I don't think that every single time you're a 14 or 15 time champion. We get it. Like, chill out a little bit with that. Like, have a gear up before going back and that's all I mean.
Well, here's the thing.
I mean, damn.
It's just like John Cena though. Like, John Cena is the name. If John Cena put himself in any main event, just like that one time it came out to go against Roman Reigns, that's the reason why it popped. Because you have Roman Reigns current, and then you got the random guy, 15-time champion, 16-time, whatever, coming in, and then like, hey, coming to get it's because of the name. That's all. But also, Cena is he's not as bad in the ring as everybody says he is. He's a good, somewhat ring general, but Charlotte can literally keep a match. Like, Charlotte has carried everybody. Charlotte carried Ronda Rousey. Charlotte is a great wrestler. Yeah, carried Becky Lynch. Charlotte carried half of the young talent in the, Asuka. Like, everybody else, like, Charlotte knows how to handle her business. That's the difference.
JB.
That's the
difference.
difference.
JB, you asked the question.
Oscar, I just, man, go ahead, Lucy, go ahead.
But JB, you asked the question, like, why, like, see, Charlotte having all these title runs or having a title, it's not saying that the other females are not doing their part and not,
Of course not.
It's just, you asked the question, why is she always involved?
Immediately, always, every single.
She's consistent. She's consistent.
I think it's okay to take a break. I completely understand. You heard me say nothing bad about Charlotte. I gave respect to Charlotte. I literally put her in GOAT tier multiple times. I have nothing bad to say about Charlotte. I just think sometimes it's okay to break it up a little bit. That's all. She doesn't have to be, I don't think she has to be involved in, be shotgunned right into a title match immediately right when she comes back. But I get it. It happened like the rapping with The Rock. He would show up, he would leave for Hollywood, come back, boom, title match. I mean, I'm not saying Charlotte's Rock level, but you know what I'm saying there. Like, she's consistent, she's a star. She has the lineage, she has the match quality to back it up. I get it. I'm just saying maybe a little break. That's all. That's all I meant by that. Nice conversation with that. Where do we think that we're talking about Charlotte with how great of a performer she is, since we're talking about that. I mentioned Seth Rollins a couple times. How do y'all feel about Seth Rollins right now with the championship and how over he's been? Do you think it's the song that's over, or do you think it's Seth Rollins himself that is actually over? If that makes any sense.
Both.
You think it's both? Cool.
Yeah, it's Seth Rollins. Number one, like, his work ethic. Like, everybody knew when that title was debuted, everybody said that they wanted Seth Rollins to get it. Why? Because Seth Rollins still comes in and works every day. Seth Rollins, he has had, and I'm going to post it on the page, by the way, so to let you know, he's had 7 title defenses in 2 months. Then Roman he only had 5 in 7 months.
Yep.
So because, he's working and he's making the title relevant and he's doing his job to do it. Roman Reigns hit the pinnacle and all of a sudden he can't do it. Now, who knows behind the scenes why? You know, obviously he had his little leukemia thing. He can't probably wrestle as much as he could, but Roman Reigns is still pushing in to work. You know, but I give Seth Rollins a lot of credit because the title now, all of a sudden, Roman, like that title is now back in Brock Lesnar's status of not defending it all the time. Like the whole 30 day, like you got to defend the title every month or you vacate it. Well, that's out the window, you know. So that was way back in the day. So I give Seth Rollins a lot of credit because he don't have to go to NXT and do it. Seth Rollins is bigger than NXT, but he still went back down and did it. Seth Rollins is bigger than going to live shows and defending it, but he still does it. Like, I give him a lot of credit. So it's not just the title, it's him. I would definitely say it's him.
All right, cool. LaShia, what do you think?
Well, I'm a fan of Seth. I just like his versatility. How he can go back and forth and still captivate the audience, still give quality matches, still, you know, be, you know, entertaining.
Yep.
That's what we want. That's what we want, right? So, you said, is it the song or is it him?
Yeah, because the crowd goes, it's gotten to the point where the crowd sings a song during promos and is interrupting promos now. It's gotten like that, where like people like, like the whole crowd will do it. And he's incorporated it into his entrance, and it's been great.
But it's because of him.
You know.
Because of him. Yeah, it's definitely his influence.
I'm just asking the question. I think it's because you heard that with Daniel Bryan. People were doubters of Daniel Bryan back then. Were like, oh, is it the yes chant or is it Daniel Bryan? I'm like, yeah, it's Daniel Bryan. He's the one that perpetuated it. So same thing with Seth Rollins. He's the one that's a part of his song. He incorporated it into his aura, into his gimmick. And I think Seth Rollins is firing on all cylinders. I think he's found a character that has, you know, that he's really, you know, entertaining with. And Seth Rollins is one of my favorite wrestlers. I think he has a great performance in and out. He doesn't even have to have the title. He's that good. He's that level. That's what HBK and that's what AJ Styles, like that level of performer. He doesn't even have to have a title be involved in the match, and he probably he'll steal the show.
No, that's AJ Styles. It's definitely AJ.
I said that's that tier. That's that tier. Seth Rollins is like he's just a great performer and everything like that. I've said that in terms of like he's the guy that he coined in terms of talking about Mount Rushmores. He said he splits it between draws and performers. And for my performer, Mount Rushmore, like it's gonna like Seth Rollins is gonna make it someone's gonna have to be kicked out of mine because Seth Rollins is like that good in my opinion. Along with like, you know, Bryan Danielson's and, you know, all the other, you know, great people and everything like that. So, yeah, much love for Seth Rollins. We all agree. We think it's both. It's not the song that's making him. He's making the whole thing.
No, it's definitely him.
Yeah, for sure. So what do you think? What does everyone think about? Has everyone here been watching AEW lately?
AEW.
Yeah. Last time you checked out AEW, you know what's going on up there?
The last time I checked out AEW, it was a while back.
What did you see when you did watch it?
Such a while back. No, I feel bad because like last time I watched AEW, Cody Rhodes was on here, so yeah, I know.
That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Cody, it's not that long ago because Cody Rhodes.
I was like, let me give it a chance. Let me watch it, you know.
Yeah,
and I was entertained, but at the same time, it was just like, I don't know. I kind of. It's sad because sometimes you really want it to be at this certain level.
Right.
All the wrestling shows. And I can't get that high anymore. I don't know if it's me personally, just growing up and or it's just not capturing me like it used to. And I want to sit down and enjoy it so badly, but it might be something that happens that just be like, let me go see what else is on, But I remember a time when I did not change the channel for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't care if it was commercials on. I didn't want to miss anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they really got to get back to that. And they probably are back to that level again. But it's like, I got to play catch up. I got to find out.
It's arguable.
Where is everybody at in the storyline? Because I may take
There's a lot going on.
But the storyline going to keep on going. The train going to keep on moving. So I'm like, I come back and I'm like, who is that? And who is this person? And why the title? And well, I will say this, because I do follow a lot of different wrestlers on IG. Rhea, she really is. I'm glad that she has the title.
Rhea Ripley?
She has the title, right? She has
Rhea Ripley? Yeah. Rhea Ripley's she's Judgment Day. They're going crazy right now in WWE.
So I'm glad that she had, because she's giving me that feeling again, like it could be saved for me.
I feel you.
The women's division. Like, I'm not even talking about the men's division, but the women's division, we've been needing help for years. Like, just for somebody to be a breakout star to really, and Becky did that for a while, that she took a step back. And I was low key, high key mad that she took a break when she was like at the top. Like keep it going. And it's like, she wants to go and have a baby now. It's like, okay. I stop somebody from living their life outside of the WWE, but it's like, just when I was starting to want to tune in again, it was like people that I was liking was falling off. I'm like, what is going on? Naomi left. I was like, what is going on?
Since we're talking about the women's division in WWE, we'll circle back to AEW. You should give it a shot, because there's the women's division in AEW, obviously, because they're a more recent company. They're not on, in my opinion, they're not on WWE's tier for women's wrestling, but they have some really great stars. They have some really good emerging stars over there. If you remember, Jade Cargill is killing it over there. Britt Baker, she had arguably Dr. Britt Baker, she had a match of the year contendership. I think it was a couple years ago or last year. It was a really violent match on Dynamite. It was crazy. I think women's wrestling as a whole, throughout all of pro wrestling, like, there's stars in every promotion. I think women's wrestling is amazing right now, and you could just watch that. The crew, we always talk about, like, we think that, we think Bianca Belair, we're happy that she's, I don't want to speak for, Carlton or Reef or anything, but I believe we've had some conversations, like, we're just happy that where Bianca Belair is at today. Like, we saw her when she was first coming up. We're like, oh, this woman's going to be a star. Like, she checks off all the boxes and everything like that.
Her promos definitely hitting. Her promos are hitting.
Yeah.
I'm not really for the promos now. I want to see how they keep the story going, because the wrestling matches.
That's what we all want to see.
Everybody watches wrestling for different things, and I think what kept me watching wrestling was the storyline and how they kept it going. And they always say women and men view wrestling differently. Like, the men be like, yeah, that's right. Wrestling part. That's how it was back in the day. They wanted to see the wrestling part, and the girls wanted to see the storyline. And now it's just like everything's intertwined. And if you don't really have a good story and you don't have a good build up, then what do the matches really do? They're just there.
You hit on something there.
No backstory on why these two people are fighting, or I get it. Sometimes they had those ones where they bring in what do they call the workers, the jobbers. They bring them in and they matches and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I really liked back then that it was a continuous storyline, and there was a reason why this was happening, and there was a reason why this person is fighting this person, and why this person has beef with this person, and and it made sense. Even though they did have some crazy stuff going on. All right, I'm not gonna lie.
Katie Vick. I mean, they're not they're not perfect, but
no, it wasn't perfect. But it kept you entertained, even the ones in between, the in-between scenes and in-between promos with people that weren't as high, as the other ones, So now I just want a story that I can sink into and be like, okay, this makes so much sense. And what would y'all call this era for real? Like the faction era?
No, I wouldn't call it that. That's a good call. That's a good guess.
A lot of different groups being built right now.
To
be people that just win it alone and just hope for the best. Now, I just, because I'm hearing y'all say Judgment Day and LWO and
they've just gotten. That's because Triple H has gotten back to has gotten back to creative. We don't know how much part of creative he is, but we hope he's most of it. But there's rumors that Vince is still involved in the final say with stuff. But Triple H, as we all know, he loves factions. So I get what you're saying with that.
It could be the faction era because there's a lot of
factions. But it's no more than Attitude. Attitude Era had, there was Attitude Era had a bunch of factions. Ruthless Aggression had a bunch of factions. This has a bunch of factions. I don't know. The reality. Are they still calling it the reality era? I don't think they're doing that. The PG, no one says the PG era.
I would call it the faction era because it seems like there's a lot of factions.
More around the factions than the stories being built and the factions just being created. Because back then, it just so happened that people just end up teaming up and being together, but there wasn't a story built around a faction. Let's create this faction and build a story around it. But back then, it was just we had a story building up, and people ended up teaming up just to get through it all, like the Rock and Sock Connection. They teamed up just to get through a certain patch, and then they went to being single all over again.
I don't personally know. I mean, I hear y'all with the faction era. I think that there's always been big factions. DX or Stone Cold was the biggest storyline heading into WrestleMania in the Attitude Era in 1998. Then you had the Corporation in '99. And then you had a bunch of smaller factions this is a throwback when Trish Stratus first debuted, TNA with oh my God, Tess and Albert and everything like that. And then in Ruthless Aggression, you had, everything was surrounding Evolution. They won all the titles in Ruthless Aggression. Triple H had the world title. Ric Flair at one point had the Intercontinental Championship. Batista and Orton had the Tag Team Championship. That was them. Then it was a little lull. DX came back, but that was a nostalgia, they're back, yay. But I mean, they had a little lull with the factions, and then Triple H once again gets, he starts to get his he rises up in the company in the corporate setting, and then he begins the Authority, if you all remember that, with Daniel Bryan. That was a really great storyline. So I feel like there's always been factions involved, but I know what you're saying. The bloodlines, it is being heavily carried right now. In WWE with the Bloodline and Judgment Day. I completely get it. I'm just not sure I don't know if I would call it the faction era, but I got you. I'm actually looking right now. They're calling it the I'm seeing post-COVID. Nah, it's not, it just got bought, so it's post buyout, maybe that. The new everyone's saying new era, reality era. Something's got to stick. So maybe faction's it. Maybe on Crew Talk right now, we have just deemed the current era. Maybe that is what just happened right now. Maybe that's just what, July 9th, 2023. It's the faction era.
Yeah.
A lot of
history is built around the factions.
History has just been made on Crew Talk right now. It's the faction era. The WWE era right now is the faction era. Is that we'll have to put a poll up. We'll have to put a poll up on social media. Is this era should this era be called the faction era? So
I agree.
We'll see. So it'd be called something.
So I just want to see more. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna just see if there's just more. The promos are what keep me entertained. I like the matches too because I like to know what the end result is gonna be because I'm that type of person. I was like, okay, who's gonna win, who's gonna lose. Mm-hmm. As far as the technical stuff, like the moves and everything, I'm not really all into that. I'm really there.
So you're not in the work. So LaShia, you're not in the work rate.
Like I want to see somebody's personality. Like I want to see characters grow. Mm-hmm. I want to see where they started, and I want to see how they grow as a character on WWE. That's where I want to see the growth.
Yeah,
like,
I feel it.
If you're doing the same shtick from the time you came in 10 years ago to now.
Yeah, no one wants to see that.
You know, like
I lose interest too.
You know, so that's where I was at with it. I'm like, some people are doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it gets old. And what we need is and we need to see more well-written promos. We need to see people really put in the emotion behind the promos, not just like saying words, but really mean what they say. And I think that's also too, like, I think everybody too buddy behind the scenes. I think it has to have some type of drama behind scenes for it to really get that. Because you know, like Sable had a whole bunch of drama going on behind the scenes, and it just like it wasn't cool what happened to a lot of them behind the scenes. But at the same time, it made that tension made the acting that much better.
Well, there's a perfect example of what you just said. You know, Bret Hart versus HBK. They actually had heat. They had backstage heat. They actually legit had heat. So that made the feud even that much better. But there's something that you said that I wanted to chime in on that you said earlier. In watching pro wrestling, it is kind of two different types of ways of how you view it. Maybe like three. It's either the storyline, the types of what happens with wrestling, and I think a mix of both. I think I'm not going to speak for the rest of the crew members, but I think I fall into the mix of both. I like work rate. I like the technical wrestling. I like the story that's told throughout a match. That's why, you know, I liked a lot of technical wrestlers growing up. I like Dean Malenko. I liked, you know, I like He Who Shall Not Be Named because he's, you know, he did what he did and all that stuff. I liked obviously Bret Hart, HBK, who could be flashy but also be a technical wrestler. I just mentioned, you know, Seth Rollins. You know, you got AJ Styles, you got Samoa Joe, you got, you know, people who were more, you know, technical than flashy and stuff like that. But also you love the storylines, like the Attitude Era. If you go back, 1999, anyone watching this or listening, you go back and watch 1999 WWE. You know, it's not the greatest wrestling year, but you can argue it's the best year of the Attitude Era because the storylines were going crazy. They had like Austin vs. McMahon, the Corbett Ministry, you know, the split of DX, the rise of Triple H, the rise of The Rock, Y2J debuting. This is every week. It's just going crazy. Pure storyline and everything like that. Matches were like 5 minutes, run in, like, you know, match starts, run in, crowd goes crazy. You know, JR going nuts. King going nuts on the you know, so, you know, I personally like a mix of both. And sometimes when WWE and the AEWs and the Impacts and all the other promotions, when they key in on that, especially WWE, you know, and, you know, ECW, you know, they you know, it's just like, it's a beautiful thing to watch as a wrestling fan. So that's my opinion. Carlton, what do you think?
Imagine how mad people would be if they paid for tickets to see a main event and like all they was doing for that main event was like a bunch of promo stuff like playing on the screen. I would be mad. But I did not pay to come here to sit in here and not see nobody run down to the ring. Like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I would think that generation doesn't appreciate because we had the chance to see everybody in their prime. Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko.
Yeah, Eddie Guerrero. Yeah, Eddie Guerrero.
You know, people like that. You know, and I would say
Lance Storm.
Yeah,
like all these,
Storm, and I'll even put it on my name. Crippler Chris Benoit. I will bring up Chris Benoit. I'll put it on my name.
Yes, that's what I was referring
to. I know.
He's the best. He's arguably the best technical wrestler that ever lived.
Because if I'm talking about his wrestling prowess, period, not about what he did, but his wrestling prowess, it's the same thing with Macho Man and
Macho Man.
Chris Candido and all the other wrestlers that
Shane
have
Douglas.
been around. Yeah, Shane Douglas, like all these other wrestlers. Like I would say that the what they did, like technique wise, like it was pure gold. Like how they did it, And right now, like I don't think wrestlers today don't work as hard as they did back then. Just like honestly, I feel like it's just today's generation. Nobody works as hard as we did before.
Oh boy. Go off. Here we go.
I'm just saying, like today.
We're getting ready.
Today's generation doesn't understand what it means. LaShia then put on the glasses.
I know.
Because I didn't say it. I don't think people understand what it means about certain things. I'm just like, so when it comes to wrestling, like they put in a lot of work back then. Like even Chris Benoit, like I understand, but like Chris Jericho, like all the GOATs, the technical wrestlers that really put in the work, that showed us how to do the moves, that showed us how to do an enziguri or a figure four, or just like Owen Hart, sharpshooter, British Bulldog, Bulldog Slam, like things like that. Like nobody don't understand that. Like it's a lot. So I think there's a better appreciation of our generation than it is.
I can see that. I just say that like Carlton, LaShia, like if you just even look like LaShia, like you were sending me some stuff on IG, like I feel like I'm seeing this stuff. I'm like, we were spoiled, man. I'm sorry. It is. For people who are the young, like they're gonna be like, oh, these old heads. It's cool. I get it. We ain't that old, but like that. Like John Cena's our main era. Actually, we're not. We've seen a lot. We saw Attitude Era at late when we were all kids, and like we saw Ruthless Aggressor with Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, Edge in his prime. Like we're spoiled. We saw Monday Night Wars. The standard is high. It's high.
So it's like when I see the stuff now, I'll be like, oh my gosh, like this would never happen back then. These people would never be friends. These people would never be together. Like I'm just like, no, because that would not happen back then. And it's just but I can talk all day about, how I wish it would go back to that time. I'm just grateful that we had those people who made WWE,
firing all cylinders,
WWF to WWE. You know what I'm saying? That crossover. Like I was there, I was watching when they was like, get the F out. Like, I was there, but remembering watching Smackdown Thursdays, then Fridays, then Thursdays again.
Smackdown was the best show on wrestling, was the best show around at one point.
I remember when Smackdown first hit the air, I was like, what? Yeah. It's coming on Thursdays now? I used to watch wrestling every day I could. It came on Saturday. You had Sunday Night Heat. I think Saturday.
Sunday Night Heat. Yep.
Sunday Night Heat. You had Monday, Raw, Monday Night Raw. Then you had WCW Nitro. You had
flipping back and forth. I'm
every freaking day.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Because I felt like if I missed one, somebody was going to pop up on somebody's show. And then I'd be like, well, why did this happen? And they wasn't really big, and we didn't have social media back then, so we didn't have replays. We couldn't go online and just look up. You had to watch it in that moment.
And while that's going on, this is going on too.
ECW too.
Saturday nights.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
So look, I think what our younger audience, the standard's high. Like I'm telling you, there's nothing. Imagine. I hope that everyone is seeing what is getting out of what is in the current era with what we got out of what we saw when we were coming up. Because I'm telling y'all, there is nothing like flipping on. Like I'm telling y'all, I would flip like Stone Cold and McMahon or DX and Bret Hart, like something on Monday Night Raw that just happened. Let me flip over. Oh my gosh, there's Sting coming down from the rafters to beat up the NWO, and like and crowds going wild on both, and like it's just something. There's a reason why there's documentaries and they still refer to that era. That is literally like it was unlike anything else in terms of seeing that. So when LaShia is saying that, like the storylines, look, LaShia, when you're saying like the storylines and how like engrossing all that can be, from that viewpoint, I completely understand. Like, and I will say, like, take a look. I'm not saying that the Bloodline storyline is Attitude Era. I'm not, but I will say that on some polls that we've had, there are people our age too, like all of our era. There are people who are giving this Bloodline storyline props. It's so just I feel like they're trying. Now I don't know if they're executing it all the time, because we had, think of the stars back then. I don't want to go like on a rant here, but like Chris Jericho in his prime, Chris Benoit, Kurt Angle, the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, Goldberg, Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Triple H, Mankind. My God, like I'm just like going, Kane, Rikishi.
Take me back.
I know, like it's just like Mick. I was just saying, like Mick Carter's. You mentioned Jaws, like D'Lo Brown, Farouk, Godfather. Like we can just go. Raven's Flock. Raven was in ECW and then WCW. Disco Inferno was popular. Like these, no one even knows who the heck that is. Who's probably under 25. Like you know what I mean? Like yeah, it was a time. It was a time. Diamond Dallas Page. Say again?
Like remember the hardcore title being defended 24 hours, like they opened it defended 24 hours. Like that was the craziest thing I have ever seen. Like somebody could be at the supermarket and then they just come up behind them, boom, like pin them, run off with the title. Like it was craziness, but it made for great television, great entertainment. But I want to ask y'all a question, right? If you had a chance to sit down and listen to old stories of the past, and you had a chance to sit down with Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, or The Rock, who would you sit down with?
Taker. And I'm a Rock is the biggest star ever guy. I think I want to talk to Taker.
Stone Cold for me.
I hear you.
I would say
because
we're talking about like, are we talking about like what's the context that we're talking about? Do you just want to talk to them and shoot the shit with them about?
Probably just
with either one of the three, and the whole dinner they're just giving you old stories about them in the wrestling scene.
It's gotta be Taker. I think Taker for me. Yeah.
See,
and I'm not a Taker. I love Taker, but he's not on the. I never thought he was on the Stardom level. Not quite Austin and Rock. And I'm saying Taker, his story. He's the backbone of the WWE era over the past 30 years, and he's seen everybody come through, and he's a locker room general. I'm sure he has so many stories of wanting to beat people up or having to stop fights, and that's all. That's why I would choose Taker.
Come here, Fat. You want to say hi?
Say Stone Cold Steve Austin because
come say hi, Fat.
I've seen his storytelling style.
Say hi. Say hi.
Oh, what a guess. What's going on?
Oh God. Yeah, don't do that. Say hi.
Hey.
What's going on, little man?
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Oh my goodness. Look, just like your big brother did when he was your age.
Okay, it's hot in here. We're almost done, okay?
The Gen Alpha, that's a part of Generation E's, and Gen Alpha is gonna they're gonna think Roman Reigns or whoever's out. They're gonna think Roman Reigns is the GOAT, probably. Roman Reigns or like whoever's after Roman Reigns, in my opinion.
Here, take your card.
I wouldn't say like GOAT status, but just to hear his stories. I think Stone Cold been involved with a lot more people. Well, I mean, Taker and Stone Taker been in longer than Stone Cold.
30 years. Right? I'm talking about just shooting the ish and hearing the stories. Obviously, if I want to talk about stardom and being at the top of the industry, it's Stone Cold or The Rock, especially The Rock, because he was the biggest crossover star ever. He was talking with Bill Gates and like being on award shows and hosting SNL like when he was like in 2000. Like in terms of like the Flash and everything, obviously Stone Cold and The Rock. But I mean in terms of just pure wrestling knowledge and the back.
Yeah, but the only reason why I would say Stone Cold is because his journey. He then went from
Stone Cold's
WCW
journey was
to
insane.
ECW. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the reason why I want to hear it.
Yeah.
WCW
for sure.
to ECW to WWF, and then like wrestling, like stardom at that point because he then went to, you know, basically probably the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, you know, because of his journey.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. I agree.
Can't
go wrong.
But here's the thing: Undertaker stayed put, did whatever. But when you look at the Mount Rushmore of wrestling and everybody talks about it, a lot of people don't bring up the Undertaker. They always bring up Ric Flair, Stone Cold, The Rock, and possibly Hulk Hogan or John Cena.
Yeah.
Like Undertaker's not even.
How you stuck Cena in there, but you know
he's not even in there. So that's the reason why I would say no. You would have to talk to Stone Cold.
I feel you. I hear that. And The Rock, in terms of him, like he, you know, him growing up in the lineage, the family. So he's hung out with Andre the Giant when he was a kid, Hulk Hogan when he was a kid. Seen all these people come up because his father, Rocky Johnson, and his grandfather, Peter Maivia, like all coming up through that. Like I'm sure he has insane stories about that too. So it's tough. It's tough, but I get it. You know, Austin's rise is definitely fascinating, especially with how he was, you know. He was solid in WCW, and then the fallout from that, and then his journey rising up straight to the top, having arguably the biggest peak ever in pro wrestling history, like drawing wise, like it's I get it. Taker, I gotta go Taker. That's all. Like he broke up. HBK didn't like. Here's the story. HBK didn't want a job to Stone Cold Steve Austin because he was a mess back in WrestleMania 14 era. With the painkillers with his back and everything like that. Taker's the one. Taker stepped in and like made him get his ish together. You know what I mean? Like Taker, I'm sure Taker has a lot of stories like that. You know, because he's just so respected, and you know, so me saying Taker's probably gonna shock some people who from that question, LaShia, because I've said what I've thought about Taker. I think Taker, like Carlton hinted on it. In terms of like stardom, there's people who will say Taker, but I just don't think I don't think he was quite like the Hogan, Rock, Austin tier. That's all. But that might have been some people, but I'm just saying like where they were like the main draw of the company, the buy rates, the records, the pops, Taker had all-time pops too, but you know what I mean? The extraness of all that, the crossover stars, the glitz, the, you know, like you can go around, you know, like someone I mentioned to someone, did you watch The Rock did you know The Rock was a pro wrestler? And they said, of course I know The Rock's a pro wrestler. I don't watch boxing, and I know Mike Tyson is a boxer, right? So like that's how big The Rock was. Like you know that that's how much he captured. That's how much Stone Cold captured. I don't think Taker, well, obviously he's been around for 5 years. Like everyone knows him, but I think it's more along the lines because he's been there a while. I don't think he quite reached the heights of that stardom, even though obviously he's, you know, in the argument of being in a Mount Rushmore. I hope that makes sense for people out there. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for what I just said because I know Taker has a lot of lovers. I love Taker. I'm just being honest in terms of that. I think he would even agree with that actually, but it's my opinion.
I think as far as like the on the road stories, I would definitely sit down with Stone Cold Steve Austin because he has the best on the road stories. You know, the different stuff that he could tell about people that he's been on the road with, like him and Mankind. He said him and Mankind been on the road for, you know, they pretty much was together. You know. Yeah,
they were on different promotions. They were in WCW too.
You know, and I think Undertaker, like you said, he has a lot of the more behind the scenes, being the WWE general,
the general, the ring, like the backstage.
As far as being that, and then The Rock, I think to tell his point of view from growing up in the industry. You know, he is kind of doing that on his new show. I don't know if it's still on the air.
It just got canceled. Young Rock. Yeah.
Young Rock. Yeah, he was doing it somewhat. I think the hype about The Rock as far as wrestling Rock is not where it was at when we was coming up.
Oh, now, I disagree with that.
It's more the hype about him being the celebrity Rock than the wrestling Rock. Because
I don't know about that, LaShia. I don't know about that. Rock was the guy. That chair stood up. It's Stone Cold and The Rock.
Wrestling, but the thing about it is that it's been so many years, and this generation coming up, they see him as
a movie star. Yeah,
the movie star Rock. So when he came out with the show, and in the show he's talking about his days in the wrestling, you know, watching his dad and stuff wrestling, people was like, like if he would have did like a Netflix documentary type joint, that would have took off way better than the Young Rock. It would have took off way better.
I hear you. I'm just saying, The Rock, I always get into debates about that. The Rock was really, he's a hair, like, in terms of his in-ring popularity and crossover ability while he was full-time wrestling, no, I don't think they were comparing the man to Hulk Hogan back then. That's pretty big. That's how big he was. I remember teachers in class quoting his catchphrases. That's insane. Who didn't even watch pro wrestling? Saying it doesn't matter what your name is. Rock was pretty big.
The storyline about him being Hollywood, I liked how
Hollywood Rock? Oh, that was great.
Yeah, like I love how they took and wrote that into the storyline and made him like this egotistical, like we didn't already know he was already kind of sort of that way. You know, but it's he got a bigger head being in Hollywood. So I really loved how they brought that in and they incorporated that into the other. But even with him being an actor and being Hollywood, people still was like, wrestling is real. It's crazy to me because we know like he's an actor and you know like they practice the matches, but at the same time the drama, we can still keep it separate. They're not keeping it separate now. So they're trying to get back to that where they keep it separate, but it's hard. It's hard, like I said, with social media and everything. So
for sure. Well, I wanted to thank you for, you know, gracing us with your wrestling knowledge and, you know, everything like that. You have been, you know, it's awesome. It was awesome this episode, just talking and shooting the ish with everybody and the hot takes. This is probably one of the more heated episodes we've ever had. So, you know, it's going to be, you know, I can't wait for everyone to see this. Please tell everybody what you have coming up again, and what you have going on in the, you know, in the near future and what you got cooking up with everything that you're doing with Think Different and beyond and your, you know, and your music career and, you know, away.
Well, again, I want to thank you guys for having me on. This was a ball. I love talking, and this is just right up my alley because it's something else that I can somewhat share my knowledge on. I'm on tomorrow night, Think Different TV, YouTube, Think Different TV. It's every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like I said, shout out to my TV fam all over the country. And on Sundays at 5:15, I am on live 97.5 in Salisbury, Maryland. You can listen to it online, www.live975.com. You can find me on IG, Think Different TV LLC. That's THINKDIFFERENT TV LLC. Y'all can tell I be saying this all the time. You can also follow me on IG under LaShia Star if you want to know about my singing, songwriting, my journey as an artist. It's LaShia Star, LASHIASTAR. JB Carlton, this has been so much fun. Like, I would love to do this again. Like, whenever
definitely. That's what we do.
Oh, you will. Yeah, you definitely will. Anytime.
Yep, crew talk's gonna we are just getting started. So we we'll definitely gonna have more and more guests, and definitely would love to have you on again for sure.
Yes, especially in the studio. We're getting the studio. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, for sure, we'll make it happen. This one was remote, but we do have we do have space at Rec, and
shout out to Rec Philly.
Shout out to Rec Philly. And yeah, lots of stuff's going to be going on. More stuff from Real TWC. We got a lot of stuff cooking up. We got some stuff cooking up for SummerSlam possibly. Excited to keep everybody in tune to that. WrestleMania is going to be coming to Philly. Obviously, we all know that, and things are going to start revving up with that. We have a whole lot of content coming. A whole lot of content coming everybody's way. A whole lot of projects. A whole lot of special engagements, and it's going to be, everyone's going to be in for a ride. It's going to be great. But as that all unfolds, until then, see everybody till next time.
Absolutely.